All right, so for today's activities, you guys are going to have a couple things to do. You're going to start off with this Ed puzzle here that is posted all about mutual funds, index funds versus ETFs. There will be some questions associated with it. If you need headphones, there will be a box of extras there in the classroom. It's a quick video with some good stuff about the different types of funds that we've been focusing on. Should only take you a couple minutes. And then once you're done, you're going to move on to our Build a Mutual Fund project. Now I'm going to take you through kind of the beginning steps. Um, some of you will get to different points in the project. So I'm going to go through the entire project and then you can kind of work as needed. All right. So you have $20 million to build a mutual fund. And this is going to be an equity or a stock mutual fund. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to think about what type of mutual fund would you want to create. Would you want to create according to this Morningstar box? Would you want to create a large value stock? If you're a large value stock, then obviously you will have value stocks. If you're a blend, you have a mix of blend and growth. And obviously, if you're growth, then you have growth. You also want to consider the type of fund. Are you going to be a large cap fund? Are you going to be a mid cap fund? Are you going to be a fund that is focused on a specific sector? We've had students in the past that have done mutual funds that have focused on one particular sector of the market. We've had students that have created mutual funds where all of the stocks in the fund were paying dividends. So really the choice is up to you. But you're going to create an objective for your mutual fund. Is it growth? Is it income? A name of your fund, but you can have a little uh, fun with this, and the appropriate securities. What you should invest, what you invest in should match your objective. So if your objective is to match the overall market, then obviously your investments should match that appropriately. You need to think about the cost structure and the fees associated with it, an expense ratio that should be comparable to other fees that are similar to yours, right? And so once you've done that, then you're going to go to our Google Sheet here. And as I mentioned, this is where you're going to start building your mutual fund. Okay, now word of caution here: all of these all of these cells over here that are shaded in gray, do not touch these because if you delete those, then your spreadsheet will not populate. All right, so up here, you can create the name of your fund. All right, so for example, I might create the Whalen Large Cap Growth Fund. Maybe I would say GBS Whalen Large Cap Growth Fund. All right, and obviously my fund category would be large growth. Okay, now again, I have $20 million available to spend. Right, so I have to come up with at least 20 different individual stocks, and I need to have at least 5% or no more than, excuse me, no more than 5% cash remaining. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm going to start with Nike. Actually, the company would go there, and then I would enter the ticker symbol. All right, then I need to go do some research here. So I can go to Yahoo Finance and I can go to Nike's page. Again, you're not guessing or you're not thinking what you think or putting what you think is the sector. We actually want to find out what exactly the sector is. Okay, so the sector is consumer cyclical and the industry is footwear and accessories. Okay, so my sector is consumer cyclical and then footwear, dot, dot, dot. Okay, now my market cap for Nike is going to be, I believe, 169 billion. All right, so that market cap correlates to, if you scroll down to the bottom of your page here, that is considered a large cap stock. Okay, so I'm not going to enter what the market cap is. I'm just going to enter large. Right? And what I want to do is today, and this is important, I'm going to use the open price. So you will be using the open price for your share, since when you get started on this, the stock market probably won't be open. It'll be from the previous day, right? So in this case, it would be $107 and 32 cents. Okay. Now I have to think about how many shares am I going to have? And this is where you can play with the numbers a little bit. Again, you have $20 million to spend. You need to have no more than 5% cash remaining. So if you buy 10,000 shares, right, there you go. You have $1 million in shares of Nike, which equals 5% of your assets. And you can see the spreadsheet will populate itself and change that percentages. So again, really important to not touch any of these cells here. Okay. And then you're just going to kind of continue on building your fund. Again, as I said, you need to have at least 20 different investments that all match your fund objective. Okay. If you do get through that, the second part of this is to create what we call a mutual fund prospectus to highlight your fund to potential investors. So you want to act as if you were going to go out and try and pitch your fund for people to invest in. It should kind of act as a one-page sales pitch for your fund. I put a couple of examples on here, but not to say that you need to have everything that's on here, because some of it won't necessarily apply. But you can see some of the things that are highlighted on here are a chart of the investment mix among the sectors, an idea of what the fund invests in, and then some general information. You can create this, have a little fun with it, the total value of the fund, the management expenses, the date that it was started. You can create your own ticker symbol. You can come up with a minimum initial investment. You can see it also gives a little summary of what the fund invests in. All right, so those two things on there are purely just examples of what a mutual fund prospectus actually look like. Now, for you, I've provided you with a blank Google slide as kind of a blank canvas for creating your prospectus. Right, so we're going to keep the orientation and the page setup of the mutual fund just like this, and then depending on your fund, you can make this match the style of your fund. You can incorporate images of the stocks and the companies that your funds invest in, but have a little fun with it. Again, I can change the background of this fairly easily. I can change it to any of the colors. I can also choose an image and change the background. I want to be able to see clearly what the fund is, what it invests in, the name of the fund, the ticker symbol, and just again, thinking about this as a one-page sales pitch for your fund. Okay. When I see you guys again on Monday next week, we'll continue working on these, but everybody by the end of class today should be able to at least get their mutual fund built in their spreadsheet and potentially start working on their prospectus. If you guys have any questions, reach out to me. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can.